Hey guys, I'm Teamfight Tonka. I'm a Masters level TFT player. I'm going to give this whole video thing a shot. I'm going to show you guys how I like to play Sharpshooters and Adepts on PvE for set 4. All of these things are obviously subject to change, but from my first couple days playing, this is probably my favorite comp right now. So stick around and we'll see if I can teach you. So the big question is why this comp? So Jinx is a CC machine in set 4. Unlike every other set, she stuns targets for 1.5 seconds in a splash damage radius with her ult. Her mana pool is super small, and because of Sharpshooter, it ricochets to either 1, 2, or 3 targets depending on how many Sharpshooters you've got. So the idea behind this comp is you CC them forever while doing crazy amounts of splash damage. So Jinx is also a fortune character. So with consistent win streaks, I've been able to hit 9 every single game with no issues. As soon as I have my Jinx items online, whether I have 2 sharpshooters or 4, as long as I can fit in the fortune units, I can get a crazy amount of gold. Uh, and then the way it transitions into late game is that 3 adepts are sort of your front lines. So you're not going to run vanguards, you're not going to run brawlers. You're going to run the solo Shen, the Aurelia, and then your Yone. I'm not sure how to say his name. But basically, with 3 adepts, it slows down the enemy's attack speed by such a long time. The Jinx is already rolling and she's stunning people chained. Um, the other nice thing about this comp is that unlike everyone else you see in PvE right now, you don't actually need to hit 3 stars of any of these units. I think I've hit 3-star Jinx maybe twice, but the games that I've won, she's just been 2-star with these items, so it's been really great. And since the core set is 7 cost, you can splash in different 5 cost units super easily. And because you hit 9 first, usually I have 2 to 3 2-star 5 cost units. Because by the end of the game, you're going to be dropping Sejuani and whatever your other fortune unit is so that you can splash in these really high level units. So it's a mix of sharpshooter plus sort of Piba type comp from set 3. So this is sort of a variation on going fast 9. So levels 7, 8, and 9 take more experience to get to now, but Fortune 3 actually can give you so much more gold than Space Pirate 2 did back in set 3. So depending on how hard you're win streaking and to an extent how lucky you're getting with how much money is dropping from Fortune, you basically don't feel any additional pressure to hit level 9. You're hitting it roughly the same time, anyways. All the games that I've pushed and played, I've hit level 9 at about 5.3 to 5.5. So yeah, you'll basically follow this standard leveling structure. Um, it doesn't really matter if you're win streaking for what I'm finding, because you want to get to 7 really quickly. Once you hit 7, that gives you the out to sort of go 4 sharpshooters and then your 3 fortune plus an extra front line. And that's sort of your most important part, I think. So once you hit that point, you'll realize whether you're going to snowball through the rest of the game or not. Okay, so the items on Jinx. So I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of discussion and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more theory crafting around what's the best way to play this character. In my experience so far, I've found that running Infinity Edge, Jeweled Gauntlet, and Sojin are the 3 best items on her. So Infinity Edge and Jeweled Gauntlet basically let her alt crit every single time along with her auto attacks. And then the reason we take Sojin over blue buff, despite her mana pool only being 50, is that whether or not it's intended, the Sojin and blue buff only take 3 auto attacks to trigger her ult. So I'd rather just have the extra AD from a Sojin, just because, like I said, the comp isn't very damage heavy. So if your Jinx dies instantly, you've got no damage. So we're just going to slam a bit more damage on her and hope she can clear it out fast. So this part I would take with a bit more grain of salt, because if you've played on the PBE, you know that every single person is running stone plates and sunfire capes. They're a bit overtuned right now, it feels, but maybe they'll just boost everyone up to sort of meet those levels. But for right now, the best tank items seem to be a combination of sunfire cape, shroud, and stone plate. And then lobby dependent, if you're getting smashed by a super Ari in the background, or if there's any other AD threats in the game, which I haven't seen many of, you can slam the usual tank items like Dragon's Claw, Bramble Vest, Titans, or Redemption. And then it's good to note that I don't usually go for any more carry items, because if you can keep Jinx alive, she's the only carry you need, because she's just going to stun and stun and stun. And in the brief windows when their team actually gets to move, they should be stuck on your tanks for long enough, or they'll be blinded by Teemo. Um, if you do happen to get more drops for damage items, I put everything else on Jhin. Or if you get another 5 cost carry that you want to run later in the game. But generally, I'll actually try to get more tank items and just slam everything on Shen and Yone. Okay, so let's talk about early game. So I think there's two distinct paths you can go down in early game, and it depends entirely on whether you hit a 2-star Vayne or a 2-star Nidalee, and then what other splash units you can get in there. So I prefer this one. This is if you hit a 2-star Nidalee, you're going to try to run 2 Brawlers, 3 Warlord, and 2 Sharpshooters. This should buy you enough time for your backline to basically kill everything. Teemo's blind mixed with just how tanky Vi and Tom Kench are early is great. It usually lets Nidalee get off 1 or 2 spears, and a 2-star Nidalee is usually one-shotting everything early if she's just in this backline here. So what you'll do is you'll put all your tank items on Vi or J4, and then you'll make sure that Nidalee is your placeholder for Jinx. Um, if you have issues with assassins early, I've been finding that putting Jarvan in the back line is just perfect. So he'll pull the aggro, and then he'll usually at least get one ult off, and they're CC long enough for whoever these two are focusing on the front line is already dead. So they'll usually turn on the assassins that jump back there. So the other variation of your early sharpshooters is Elderwood and Sharpshooter. So I don't really like this comp because it lacks a lot of damage. I'm sure there's better ways to optimize playing Vayne early, but I've found that this comp mitigates the amount of damage you're taking. So you're probably not going to win streak with this one, but you're not going to take huge amounts of damage either. So your tank items are going to go on your strongest front line, and then Vayne is going to be holding your Jinx items. So unlike the first comp where I don't mention carrying another Nidalee, you do want Vayne as your 4th sharpshooter late game. So you're going to want to make sure that you do collect an extra Vayne so you can sell this one after once you move the items to Jinx. But yeah, again, this is definitely the weaker of the two, but it can save you a lot of health if you're not hitting your warlords with the Nidalee version. That's basically what I found Elderwood to do is they're not winning, but they are saving you some health. So this is the spicy part of the game. So once you're level 6 and you have your 4 sharpshooters, that's when you want to start trying to farm your fortune money. So as long as you have 1 or 2 items on your Jinx by now, along with at least one of your frontliners at 2-star, or have decent items like a Gargoyle Stone Plate seems almost as good as a 2-star unit right now. Jinx can carry through these rounds with her damage and CC. So really what you're looking for from here is you want to find the replacement for Nidalee. So you're looking for your Jhin, and you want to find your replacement for Tahm Kench, which is going to be Sejuani. And then to hit level 7, you want to find either Aurelia or Shen, because you've basically got your backline set up at this point. So by now you should be flooded with a lot of fortune money, as long as you've got 2 to 3 items on your Jinx right now, and hopefully she's 2-starred by this point. You should be win streaking like crazy. And even if you lose every now and then, the amount of money that you get from a win streak can almost nullify getting a loss. Like I've had some bags give me 7 to 9 coins, which if I broke a win streak, that's basically 5 rounds of interest, right? So it's actually insanely overtuned right now. Some of those values are destined to change. So something you should know at this point of the game, Teemo and Vayne, they are your sharpshooter sacrifices. They do basically nothing else for you. Maybe they'll do something for you at level 9 when you can start putting in another Dusk unit or a Spirit unit. But for now, they are nothing and you don't care about them. Hopefully you've hit a Shen and a Sejuani by this point because you want to get your items off of Tom Kench and get them onto Shen. So like I was mentioning with J4 earlier, Shen is a really great backline unit to deal with any assassins or shades that happen to jump back there. So if you're in a situation where you're finding your backlines dying too quickly, throwing Shen in the back is usually enough to keep at least Jinx alive, which is all you really want. So your level 9 should look something like this. Uh, so you have a choice whether you want to keep running Fortune or not. If you're at a point where you've hit level 9, but you're not really winning as much anymore because you're still running a 2-star Annie and like a 1-cost Sejuani, then that would probably be the time to swap out Fortune. But I've actually kept 3 Fortune going for a long time at level 9, just because you're already so far ahead of everyone else. It gives you the money to roll down and sort of find those 2 or even 3 cost 5 stars, because a lot of the lobby is still going to be around level 7 around the time you hit level 9. Um, so if you do have to transition them out, you're going to trade Annie out for a 5 cost, and you're going to trade Sejuani out for a 5 cost. So I think the best 5 costs for this comp are probably either Lilia, Set, Lee Sin, Zillion. I've tried Kane. He's okay just because the unit itself is pretty strong, but I don't think he's doing a lot for this comp personally. And then you'll also be adding Yon for your third adept at this point. So the last thing I want to talk about is the chosen or the fate mechanic. So I've listed the 4 best ones that I believe for this comp. So early on, the best one is no brainer. It's Fortune. If you can get a unit that counts as 2 Fortune and you can fit them into this comp, it means that this level 6 board in front of you gets a lot better, because you don't need to run a 1-star Annie or a 1-star Tom Kench if you're just putting them in for Fortune. It also allows you to get lucky and sort of put in that early Aurelia or put in those 2 Shens or something like that early. Um, so the next one is Sharpshooter. If you can get someone who has an extra Sharpshooter bonus, you don't need to run these dead units like Teemo or Vayne. I would personally drop Vayne before I drop Teemo, because even though Teemo is not very good, his blind has saved me on more than one occasion, which Vayne's lack of items or star levels really doesn't add anything. It also gives you the opportunity to go for 6 Sharpshooter if you want. I don't think it's going to be great, but it could work in this comp for sure. The other one you can do is Adept. So for Adept and Exile, if you can manage to hit those, your comp basically stays the exact same no matter what. The only difference is you get stronger from it. So you'll hit 4 Adept, which you can't hit otherwise unless you get chosen Adept. And then Exile, you can actually hit the 2 Exile without having to keep a 1-star Master or 1-star Yasuo around. So those are the chosen units that I'm looking for. And that's all I have for you. So hopefully I've showed you guys how to play the Sharpshooter Adept comp a bit more while relying on that fortune money to get you through that mid game. I'm going to be going through PBE a lot. I've linked my Twitch right below there. You can like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff that every YouTuber says ever. If you have any feedback on the video, let me know. I'm looking to improve on basically whatever you guys say. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys can grind out the ladder.